That's a really great story how a job goer actually came into real estate and crushed it within like a couple of years.
My $7,500 offer is an offer that we teach them our approach to marketing. We teach them our approach to disposition. And
So I mean, like, how did you break these people instead of a challenge and to pay you $999 for that?
I worked for Tata for about 5 years building data center. When people wanted to get into our premium value offers, it was either we had to do in-house funding ourselves or
I will share a trick with you that will help you get at least 50 to 60 people to join your next challenge.
I'm absolutely looking for that. I'm absolutely looking for that.
All right, we are live. Welcome to the Beyond Challenges podcast. I'm so excited to be here on the second episode. Now, just so you know that we have three different kinds of things that we do in our podcast. The first thing is like where we go in and create strategies for new challenges that are coming up. And then the second one where we go ahead and analyze, audit the different kind of challenges for people who have already done challenges. And then we go ahead and see where we can do it better. The third type of challenges, though, the third type of podcast episodes are those where we bring in some guests who have already done challenges, who are doing unique kind of challenges, and they're going to share some of their challenge secrets with us. So today we are going to do that. Okay, so it's going to be pretty interesting because we have Curtis Harvey in the house today, and he is a guy who charges $999 for his challenges. Now, as excited as you are. I haven't had a conversation with him before, so I'm not going to ruin the fun. So we are going to call him in on the studio in here so that he can come in and share some light on how he charges $999 for his challenges. Okay, welcome, Curtis.
Thank you. Doing today?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good, man. Thank you so much
That's
for
good.
coming over here. It's an honor to have you here.
Yeah, not a problem. Glad I could join.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. So, tell us about you, Curtis. Like, what is it exactly that you do, and some of your background?
Yep. Well, I run a wholesale real estate company. Right. We have about 22 employees currently, and I'm in 23 different markets, and we wholesale real estate. Average about 50 deals a month, and we've been doing that since about 2019. Yep.
Wow. So you mean you're getting 50 deals on real estate every single month since 2019?
Yes. Well, not since 2019. Probably since about June, July of 2019. Right, was when we
Wow.
first had our seven deal month, and then about November of 2021, we finally kind of reached the 50 deal mark, and we've been hovering around that range ever since, right? Because we couldn't get there because we hadn't had systems up, and I finally got systems put in place so we could actually achieve that in about November of 2021, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since.
Wow, wow. That's huge. That's huge, Curtis. Like you have been I hear a lot of my friends who are in real estate, they are also like it's kind of really difficult to get some deals going on back and forth with doing a
Yeah.
lot of stuff manually themselves. So it's not
Yes.
like a one man game. I'm glad that you already have 22 employees with you
Yeah.
working with
Yeah.
you, right? So
Yeah.
that's amazing. And what were you doing before real estate though?
Well, I had a W-2 job as a computer engineer. Right, I help companies build data centers. As a matter of fact, I worked for Tata for about 5 years building data centers. So I've it was really cool
Tata
doing that
Group?
work. What's that? Yeah, I work for Tata.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a really great story how a job goer actually came into real estate and crushed it within like a couple of years. I mean, would love to
Yeah.
know your
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was. I got to the point where I've been spending a lot of money for my kids on college and a lot of other things, and I hadn't really planned for retirement. And then one day I saw an ad for a wholesale real estate course, and I ended up taking the course right at the beginning of COVID. Finally slowed down enough to be able to listen and pay attention to a course, and with the course, it took me about a month and a half to get my first deal, and then I struggled with some consistency for a few months, and then I figured out how to create some standard operating procedures and how to kind of document some KPIs and OKRs, and then I got to the point where I was able to get some consistency in about June or July of 2019. And then from there, it was all about kind of expanding and figuring out systems that would help me get to where I could actually get some consistency. And it worked out pretty well.
Definitely, man. I mean, at some point you were doing the job as well as you were doing this as a side hustle, right?
Yes.
Yourself. Okay. Wow. Like how much time would you spend in a day by just working
Well,
for both?
for me, I would spend probably 3-4 hours before and 3 or 4 hours after, right? And since during COVID, things kind of slowed down in regards to the requirement, right?
Mhm.
We couldn't really get into customers' data centers anymore. There was no more face-to-face meetings. So it was a lot of internal meetings, but not really a lot of customer facing. So I had tons of time before work and then tons of time after work to get a lot of stuff done. So I spent that time really, 6-7 hours a day, really growing things out. And then, kind of grew into about 38, 39 hours a week to really hammering away at it. Right. And then once I got to the point where I started to get in some consistency and had money coming in, I scaled the business with virtual assistants, and I hired, some people that were onshore that were, that could help me get to where I need to get to. And then I delegated, I started delegating like crazy and kind of just about scaled myself out of it as well. So.
Wow. So you were working as an employee before, and then
Yeah.
you started hiring some people to delegate the work to them.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I have had a team for like 1.5 year now, right? And I'm just 23, and it's I can tell you, it's really difficult to manage people.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you manage to do that? Like, how did you come to know about like how to manage people, how to delegate work in the right way, like having the
Well,
right systems in place?
Well, I guess a couple of things that were important for me is with my whole business, what I had to do is I had to actually document everything that I was doing on a daily basis, right? So I documented everything. I made standard operating procedures for it all, right? And then I made key performance indicators for every standard operating procedure, so that when I would do that activity, I could see whether it was trending up or down based on
Oh,
my level of activity, and then at that point, it was easy for me to scale that process, because then when I delegated that process, I read Mike Michalowicz's book called Clockwork, and it's a book that talks about scaling. And so basically what I do is I had 3 things I could do at every task, right? Either I could get rid of that task, I could delegate that task, or I could keep that task, right? And for me, most of them I wanted to delegate. So some of the things that I initially delegated was I would spend like 38.5 hours a week on doing Facebook outreach, right? Trying to find deals. And so I delegated that to VAs first, right? And I was only in a single market, right? I delegated it to, I delegated that task and kind of managed it with KPIs every day. And I would monitor it and see how things were going. And boom, that started doing really well. And then I start scaling some of the other things I did within the business, and they started really doing really well. And then I scaled it out to 3 markets, right? And then it started going, things still kept going really well. And then I hired more people and delegated the same activity and scaled it out to 25 markets, right? And then that's kind of what got me. But it's the initial documenting everything that I do, tracking everything that I do, and having everything in a single environment. So it's wrapped up. Like we use OneNote for our documentation and to track things. So by putting everything in a single place for my whole team to manage, it made it really easy. It was like a documentation for my business, all in electronic format, right? It's all in. So that made it super easy in regards to documenting, and then just scaling after that, right? And so every time I have a business, that's kind of the method I use, right? I document it, I create the processes, I create some way to track it, some method of tracking it, and then it becomes really good for me, right? So that's my secret in regards to the way that I think scaling and delegating should be done.
Wow. I mean, I'm pretty sure that you would be seeing a lot of progress once you started delegating work off of your table to other people, just so you could focus on just revenue producing activities rather than doing the groundwork, right?
Yep. Yeah. So that's really key, right? Because like it's okay to have some KPIs that you need to track and see how things are going. But you need to also have some minimum level um, things that you track and require, kind of some results that you track for your team, right? So I have, in addition to the KPIs that I track, I also track some minimum level things that have to be accomplished in order for us to get the results that we want to get, right? And so it has to be all results based. To keep the KPIs are really good because they kind of tell us the health of the processes and everything.
Right.
But you have to track and have some really good results based tracking so that if you're, is a market healthy, is the activity, has that person been really productive that day? I mean, those are all key things that you have to track as well, right? So it's not just the SOPs and KPI. You got to track those things because it's super important to be moving forward every day, right? For us, one of the things, for instance, on my disposition team that we track on a daily basis is how many buyers are they talking to on a daily basis? How many new buyers are coming into our system every day, and then that are vetted, and then how many walkthroughs and how many offers that we get a day, right? Those are the things that are super important for us, right? Within that wholesale business, right? Because that I use that same thing in my sales business now that I've started, developing offers, right? Because that's what basically happened from there is like, I'm doing that. And then people are like, hey, I like what you're doing. Can you help me do that? Right. And so from there, I developed a sales company. I put some ads out. I got some setters and some closers. I have five setters now and 3 closers, and kind of managing that team the same processes the same way is kind of super challenging for me, but I think that's now starting to become really good, right? I'm starting to have some success in regards to that.
Yes, I mean, you said that you had 3 closers and 5 setters.
Yeah, correct.
Wow,
Correct.
that is great. I think it's like delegating work to the sales team. I think it's challenging. At the same time, it's really important for scaling your business at the end of the day, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
you cannot take all the sales calls yourself, for sure.
Well, that was, for me, that was one of the really key things initially, right? Is like and the reason why I joined, Myron's Challenge, where we met in the first place, is because I wanted to get like a different perspective and a fresh look to the way that I was doing things, right? Because I had always I've been selling my course for my core premium value course for a year and a half, and one of the things I noticed is I could always sell the course. Like when anyone had a question in regards to the course, and I walked through kind of the things that the course entailed and how we do things different than anyone else. After I have that conversation with someone, they're like, well, here goes my credit card. How do I sign up? Right. But what I didn't have sales mechanisms in place to be able to grow and scale that, right? Which I went in some Facebook groups. I put an ad in there. I got some closers and setters. I trained them on kind of what the offer was and what things we were doing, right? And so that really helped. And then having like a KPI dashboard so I can see what they're doing every day, being able to go high level and track, like, here goes our, all of the calls and, how many calls everybody's getting every day, how many closed calls we're getting, how many sets, and I start setting like minimum things, like every setter needs to have 4 sets a day, and you need to have a certain amount of 1 minute, 5 minute, and 15-minute calls, and you need to have a certain amount of dials a day. I started seeing a little bit better results, right? And so, it's always, it's a work in challenge. It's a work in progress for me, and I'm trying to build it out, right? And so I started by having 2 challenges a month, right? The ones that you talked about earlier, which was our 995 challenge. And so with that challenge, I have an acquisitions bootcamp challenge and a disposition bootcamp challenge, and they're both 5 days. They're 1 hour a day, and what I wanted to do is because my premium value offer is one in which I help people get 5 to 8, try to get them so that they can complete 5 to 8 deals a month, right? And if they and we usually do that, and obviously I have a guarantee. And if they don't get it done in 6 weeks, because I work with them in Zoom twice a week for 6 weeks, if they don't get that done, our guarantee is I will work with them until they get that done at no additional cost. So and that's 5 to 8 deals. So I created challenges which would help people get one deal done, right? Because that's ultimately, I started having people that wanted to get like one deal done. And so I created the 999 challenge to help people get that done. And so our first month, we developed a Facebook group and we started, adding members, on a regular basis. I think we're up to like 4,000 members in the group now. But what I didn't have initially was a lot of people wanted to join, but they didn't want to join my premium value because of the time it took to get deals done. They just wanted to get a single deal done, right? And so I created that. I created some polls in the Facebook group to see what people really wanted, and most of them said they wanted an offer that they could get one deal done. So people started to ask for it. So I had the first challenge we had, and I think in the 2 challenges, we had a total of 10 people at $9.95 that signed up. What I didn't do, I made a huge mistake in some of those in my challenges, is that I didn't upsell to my premium offer, right? And so I've been kind of rethinking kind of the way I wanted to do it. And I think probably a better way to do it would probably be to do a free challenge and just upsell people into my premium value courses, right? But I know there's a lot of different ways to do challenge, and a lot of different ways work for different people in different environments, right? And I haven't had an opportunity to really test a lot of it out, but we tried it that way. We did pretty good. I think, we probably did $20,000 in the first 2 challenges, which is good, right? We made money. But we've been so busy with other things. We did 2 months worth of it and then we stopped, right? And now I want to reboot that up, but I'm trying to figure out a better approach to that, right? I think I want to do like a free challenge and maybe kind of offer an upgrade into our premium value offer, right? Instead of just stopping at the $9.95, right? Because we have a lot of different offers, and maybe we'll offer something that is a little higher price for people who really want to get our dedicated time to get it done. Because either, you're going to spend the same amount of time helping people no matter what it is. We might as well get the premium value charge for it rather than the other charge, right?
So I'm just trying to understand, when you mentioned that you're doing 2 kind of challenges. Now, the first challenge is designed to sell the second one at $9.95.
No, the first challenge is designed to help people with acquiring the deal, getting a deal, so that they have a deal that they can sell. The second challenge, it helps them with selling that deal, right? And so we broke those up into 2 separate groups, right? One is called the Acquisition Bootcamp Challenge, and the second one is called the Dispositions Bootcamp Challenge. And with both of those challenges, it really helps people with their ability to build a system where they can acquire deals and then be able to sell a deal as well, right? So that's kind of the difference in the 2 offers that we presented. And then I created a course out of that and put it for upload, but I haven't really sold a lot of them because I haven't spent the time, right? I probably should have run ads and putting people from there and funnel them directly to that, right? So that I could sell some of those, but we haven't done that yet either.
So I'm just curious, like for the first 2 challenges that you did for the first 2 months, right? Why didn't you sell your premium value offer in there, like the $7,500 offer? But before we say that, like, can you explain your $7,500 offer? That people can get to know about that.
Yeah. My $7,500 offer is an offer that we help people get 5 to 8 deals completed on a month consistently, right? We teach them all of the systems. We teach them our approach to acquisitions. We teach them our approach to marketing. We teach them our approach to disposition, and we teach them how to build up a pipeline where they could actually close 5 to 8 deals. And we have tons of testimonials. We have tons of student currently in our system that are doing that on a regular basis. So that part of it is pretty simple, right? We're able to help people, and we're results based, so people are always want to be involved, and we give them that guarantee where we continue to work with them. A lot of other people, they'll tell them, hey, go watch a video and then jump in a group call once a week, and we'll be able to help you if we can. With us, we do one-on-one Zoom sessions. It's all practical application. You really learn how to do what we teach, and then because of that, our students have had a lot of success. Right. We have students that have been closing 10 deals a month for the last year and a half, 2 years. We have students that have been, I just had one this week. He's in his 6th week. They closed, him and his wife, they closed $100,000 in cash collected, right? Since they've been in the program, right? They pay $7,500. So for us, it's about the dimes for dollar thing that we always talk about. Myron talks about this too, right? Which is, if someone's willing to give you, pay you a dime for a dollar, that's a very good. And I think when we think about like the pricing of our offers, we have to put ourselves in a situation where we have to be giving some value to someone. So because if someone sees some value, it's very easy for them to say, here goes my credit card. I know I'm paying $10,000 for $100,000 worth of value. So I think that's super important. So for us, that kind of was our approach, and with my premium value offer. And we've been having, I've had thousands of students that came through and in that sense, right? But for me, what I wanted to really do is I wanted to try to create a challenge version of what we offered, right? And try to use it as a pipeline to help bring people into our program, right? Because our lifetime value of a customer can be very high, right? We have tons of upsells. We have premium products that are even higher. We have an inner circle. We have a VIP day. We have all those things. But in order to get people into our ecosphere, you have to drive them in with something. And I wanted to start using that challenge as a method of doing that. But not having enough time and enough information and enough experience with challenges. Right. So I've done it that way. I think, in my opinion, it's probably time to try to change my approach to it. Right. And have a more consistent method of bringing clients in. And so I think that we're going to kind of reboot that within the next, 15 to 20 days and kind of do it differently now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, if you already have all the premium value offers above the $7,500 as well, and people are getting results inside of your $7,500 offer, I think it makes more sense for you to just use the challenge to sell more of that offer, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, why weren't you selling? Why didn't you think about selling your $7,500 offer inside of a challenge before?
Well, that was I think that was a kind of a misstep of ours in regards to that, right? Because I thought most of the people who come into that challenge, one of the big determinations when I did a poll in my Facebook group was that cost was an issue, and that they had one shot to kind of get it done, right? And so that was kind of my approach to it because of that, right? My thinking should have been, they're going to have success. They're going to make money. And when they do make money, it's ultimate time to move them up because you've already proven the case study, and it'd be the best thing to move them into the premium value offer so they can grow and scale, right? And so I didn't do that the first time. I think has to be the approach going forward. And I think the other thing too, though, is that, I mean, running a challenge is very challenging, right? It's, we the last time we ran, this time I want to run more Facebook ads, right? I want to generate more Facebook ads. I want to tap into cold email marketing. I want to do more marketing within our Facebook group. We do an Instagram live every day at 4:30. I want to tap into that group. I want to tap in to a lot of different to bring more people into the challenges, right? So we have the funnel to build to have more potential people be able to move into the premium value offers. So I just need to do a better job of that. I think one of my biggest problems is trying to manage everything at one time. I'm thinking about bringing someone like yourself into that manages challenge that can help us with and manage all of all I have to come and just help deliver the information, and everything else will be done without an issue, right? So
Right, right, absolutely. So, so it became kind of challenging for you to go ahead and execute it, right? I
yeah.
mean, um, one of the things that I've seen with bringing in traffic, right, is one of the biggest challenge of coaches who are trying to do 5 day challenges themselves. So, I mean, you have already gotten like 10 people to join your challenge regularly, right? So at $995, so people are charging like $97 for $297 for the challenges. So I mean, like, how did you break these people instead of a challenge and to pay you $999 for that?
Yeah, so most of those people were people who currently in the industry who understood our value, right? Who understood that we knew what we were talking about, because we provide so much free information. Like in our Facebook group, we do 3 lives a week. We also do an Instagram live once a day, and then we have tons of newsletters and free information in our Facebook. So they're providing us ton of value for free. For that amount of money, I know they're going to give us a lot of value, and because of that, I think is why we were able to pick up, as many people as we did going in. But in my opinion, I think we could absolutely have more people involved in the challenges. Um, I think doing it in a more in a better way, I think we could get more people into the challenge. I think that's the key, right? If we hit all of our marketing channels, if we continue to drive traffic the way that I think we can drive it, I think it'll put us in a situation to where it should be 50 to 75 people, and we should be able to at least 50% of those should upgrade into our premium value. Because one of the things for us that I've been able to develop since the challenges is we have funding, right? So we have about 88 companies that we provide funding through, which in the past hadn't been the case. So when people wanted to get into our premium value offers, it was either we had to do in-house funding ourselves, or we had to manage that through a credit card or a Stripe link. Now it's completely separate, and we have a completely separate funding system. If somebody wants to jump in, if they have a good credit score, they can get all cash funding offers, or they can get into an in-house financing that we don't have to manage, right? Because that's what I don't want. I don't want another thing to manage. And now that we have that set up, I think we can do a better job in regards to helping people with financing for the premium value offers, which is good.
You have all the pieces together. It's just like you have to go ahead and execute so that you
Yeah.
can start getting more people in. I mean, financing is also one of the biggest challenges, right? Because I don't think coach financing or the other kind of financing that is out there in the US, like they do not provide like finances to a lot of students just because of the credit score. And I have seen some of I have made some friends in the Myron Golden Challenge, right? And they said that they applied for the coach financing, and it didn't approve them. So I'm thinking like getting in-house financing is much better. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, you can manage to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Yep. That's
that's
huge. That's
that
huge.
is huge.
I think I know. Well, so for me, one of the biggest things, and the reason why we end up finding it, was because one of my sales guys kept complaining about the fact that on all of his closing calls, that was the one thing that he would have a hiccup with in regards to getting people into the program. They're like, "I'm broke. I don't have any money. I can't do anything in regards to it." Right. And so for me, I wanted to try to provide an environment where we're helping people, but people didn't have to worry about, like, because what I've seen in the past is people would get in a coaching program and they would get in-house funding, and they tell them, "Oh, you're going to get a deal in 3 months," and they don't get a deal in 3 months, and
Mhm.
at 3 months they would get either kicked out of the program, or they would get no access to the education program anymore because they couldn't continue to pay. So
Mhm.
I wanted to try to eliminate that from being a case with people, and have people not have to worry about the funding portion. Once you got funding, you're good to go. You can focus on accomplishing and getting the results. You don't have to worry about the funding, right? So
Right.
once we got that, that was really huge. And I tried a lot of coach financing. I tried all those other ones, and the problem is that no one can get approved, right? Everybody had to have a 725 credit score, and a lot of people don't have that, right? So
Right. Right.
um, the only option for them was to pay all cash or pay with Stripe or whatever. So it was that was a big problem, right? And so not only having an option where people can get loans and your cash collected, you get the cash collected in 48 hours, or your cash collected that day, as
Mhm.
opposed to, and even with in-house funding, people still make deposits that day and you get cash collected, right? So then students didn't have to worry about, they could purchase the premium offers and not worry about them, right? People can purchase like 100K offer and not worry about it, right? They can get financed, and I don't have to chase somebody down for it. It's a company that does it, right? Because that was my biggest problem, is I don't want to be in the business of chasing down people for money and billing every month, right? That's not my
Right.
issue anymore, right? And so
Right.
so that
Absolutely.
that was tremendously helpful for me.
So, I mean, if you're comfortable sharing with us, then can you share how did you find that in-house funding for yourself? So that I think like a lot of challenges that people are doing out there, they're trying to sell a $20,000 offer, uh, a $30,000 offer from that, and they're facing the same issue with coach financing and other kind of financing that they're using. And if they can find an in-house financing for themselves as well, I think it will be a big portion, uh, like it will be a big deal for them, that will help
Yeah.
them challenge.
Well, for me, I mean, I did a lot of research in regards to, I reached out to just about every company that does financing, and finally I ran into a mentorship that I joined, that gave me the ability to. And one of the tools that they had was, it's interesting because I always thought that what I was looking for was, I was looking for a company that had 10,000 affiliates set up so that I could
Mhm.
immediately make a splash in regards to that. But the company that I found that had all of these affiliates, they actually were a company that actually had in-house financing as part of their program. And so I signed up for that. And unfortunately, they haven't gotten the affiliates up and going, but they had the financing up and going. So I kind of benefited from that. And I'm working now with them on being able um, to sub out that or sell that as part of some of my agency stuff, right? So it's, if anybody's interested, don't hesitate to contact me, and we can chat about it. But that for me is going to be really cool, because I could really help people in regards to financing now, which was it's a huge issue, I think, in our business, especially with the premium value offers. Is like, how do I get someone funded or financed who doesn't have to take that money, off their family's table right now until they get results, right? And so that's
Absolutely.
extremely helpful, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that is a huge part in it itself, because like it's really big, because a lot of financing companies out there, they do not provide coaching, like they do not provide financing for coaching programs specifically, because they feel like this is really volatile and not a lot of people can actually go ahead and
Yeah,
pay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So so Curtis, like, did you connect with all the people that were in the challenge, like, or there was only one way they could get the training and they couldn't ask questions, or they could ask
Well,
questions too?
well, a couple of things is important, right? So so we did it, the way we did it was, I did it in a webinar format, right? So we did it in
Uh-huh.
a webinar format. As a matter of fact, we used Get Response, right? We had maybe, I think we had Webinar Kit initially, and it was so for us, it was much more complicated to use than it needed to be, right? So I canceled the subscription to that, and then we used Get Response. Super easy, basic, you know, capture everybody that logged in, captured their email, sent every day, sent a email out to them, giving them a video, of the format, and the training that day, and then we was able to send out, like, it allowed us to, we were able to send out like questionnaires, and then get testimonials of the training. So that was really good, right? So that part of it was really good. And then most of the people for us though came from our Facebook group, right? And so for us, that was how we were able to. I mean, that was basically our traffic in regards to that. I wish that some of it would have been from, other things. I think next time it'll be a lot of ads. We'll run some Facebook and Instagram ads. I think we've gotten really good at running ads now, so it'll be a lot of Facebook and Instagram ads. And as we start to grow out our YouTube channel, it'll probably be a little bit of that as well, right? But probably some cold email, but mostly Facebook ads and in our Facebook group, right? Our community. We'll get, we'll do the best we can to do that. I think that's kind of the next challenge for us, is to get 50 people in our challenge, and then be able to at least get 25 people that order into our premium value offer, right? So.
So when you said that you have got a lot of people to join in your challenge from your Facebook group, right? So you already have a list of all those 4,000 people that have joined your Facebook group?
Yes, we currently do. Yes.
With emails and their phone numbers?
Absolutely.
I will share a trick with you that will help you get at least 50 to 60 people to join your next challenge.
I'm absolutely looking for that. Because we have we use GroupKit for our email, right? And so for our Facebook group, and we manage everything through there, and we when we collect all emails at one time when people, and then even better, the people who don't submit their emails, because one of the things about Facebook groups is you can't make people give their email addresses, right? But the people who do not give their email addresses, I have my VAs follow up with them, communicate with them, direct message them, and get their email and phone numbers as well, and then we add them to that worksheet. So we have we have their emails, we have their email addresses. So that's really helpful, right? Because then once we get their email addresses, I run them through a funnel, and we communicate with them on a regular basis. And sometimes we have some things that we offer them that we don't offer everybody else, and I can do that via some of the funnels, right? We can send them offers for things that which it would so, like, sometimes we have spreadsheets that we send them, or we'll have some other lead magnets that we'll send them that nobody else gets access to, that we want feedback on. So those things are really cool. We'll send them newsletters. We'll do all those things, right?
Awesome. So I mean, I just have a couple more questions, and then I will share that trick with you so that you can get more people inside your challenge.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be fun. So I mean, by just going through these challenges that you have already done, do you feel like you know about your audience a bit more by actually interacting with them?
Yes. Well, no. Well, I think I know a little bit more about them. I don't know enough about them, right? Because that's always the, I would think that anyone that would follow my Facebook group are people who really need help. But sometimes when I make a post or I send information out about them trying to help them, crickets sometimes, right? And so I think it's some magic in regards to how you get people to respond, and people who really do need help. But I think sometimes people who do need help won't reach out for help, because even when it's not some associated costs with it, they still don't respond.
I meant from your challenge. So the people who joined your challenge.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Did you get to know more about your audience after they joined your challenge? Because
yes.
Because you could interact with them, and you can really find out their objections and all of that stuff. That's what I meant.
Yes. Yeah, I did. Actually, we did, right? So we had I thought the challenges were pretty cool. I think we had some pretty cool people go through the challenges, and we kind of tracked and audited kind of their progress to make sure that they actually got to the goal, which is really cool, right? But even when people did get to the goal, and they saw that it was real and they had some success, we're still targeting them to move to the premium value offer, and not, maybe we've had one or two that have come over, but I wish more, now that they've seen success, had easily been over. But now that we have some financing, I'm gonna see if we can't help them out as well.
Mhm. So you didn't pitch your offer though, right? But you are
No, we didn't pitch the premium value offer. No,
no. Oh
but
yeah, of course. Like,
I one of the things that really that resonated with me is I went back after our challenge and I reviewed our challenge and I reviewed the Make More Offers challenge that I met you on. And one of the things I missed is the fact that we should always be presenting people, because you don't know, we should have always be presenting them with an opportunity to upgrade into our premium value offer, because we don't know who would have been interested in that, because we never did pitch it, right? And so
absolutely.
I don't know. I don't know. I think kind of a product of the webinar format is like not having that Zoom interactive or like StreamYard interactive or whatever format you use. I think sometimes hurts you when doing a challenge, because there's not the back and forth, right? You're talking and they're texting or communicating in the chat. It needs to be more of a back and forth in regards to that communication, so that you could kind of drive it towards, presenting that offer, right?
So it's like just like Barrett does, right? Where he has a platinum experience for his audience. So only the platinum experience people can ask him questions directly inside the Zoom room, right? So
Yes,
if
yes.
there are 200 VIP members, none of them can ask questions. Just the small group of platinum members can ask him questions. So I think just using that can give you a lot of objections that you can use in your sales pitch. Now, just like
Yeah.
Byron always says, right? Someone cannot take an offer you do not make.
Yeah, that's 100% the truth. And I think that's what I felt after I was done with the challenge. I felt like I had left money on the table. I had left opportunities on the table. I should have done more, right? And so, it's a bad feeling after a challenge to have that, right? You made money, but you felt like you could have done and helped more people. And for me, that ultimately is kind of what we want to be able to do. So I
Yeah, I
definitely
mean,
understand. Like, I think you have to check the boxes off every time you do one to see if you've been able to accomplish those things. And that's one box that I didn't check off the last time, that I need to check off the next time to make sure that we're in a good place.
well, it's never too late, right? I mean, you're gonna do a challenge once again, and I'm definitely sure now that you have the financing part, now that you know that you have to pitch your offer. I mean, you're
Yeah,
gonna make like at least six figures in the next challenge, definitely.
I hope that's the case, man.
Absolutely, man. So, at last, I would just like to ask you one question, if I may.
Yep.
Um, if someone is already a coach, right, and they are already at a mark where they are making at least $20,000, $30,000 every single month, so do you believe by starting to do challenges in their business as soon as possible will help them to hit six figure per month by what you have seen?
Yeah,
And what
absolutely. Absolutely, because it's, I mean, if even if you do free challenges, it's a nurturing of new potential students or new clients. Also, ultimately, we like to, as coaches and students. I mean, as coaches, you try to um, put people in a situation where you can educate them in an isolated environment and provide value. And if you're providing value to people, especially for free, people always have to ask the question: if you provide me that for free, what will you provide me if I pay you? Right. And
Right,
so
right.
I think because of that, having a challenge as early and as often as possible is super important. And understanding the value of it, right, and what it brings to bear, right. It gives you the ability to nurture your potential new students. It gives you an opportunity to upsell them into your premium value offers. And if it's ran properly, which is the most important part, if it's ran properly and the proper traffic is driven to it, you can financially benefit from it greatly as well.
Mm, definitely,
So,
man.
so those for me, I think are the keys in regards to. Yeah, I absolutely think people should run challenges, and there are a lot of different methods of challenges. I think
Mhm.
one of the things I think people sometimes have to get out of their way because they think only one way of running a challenge will be successful, and I think that's not the case at all. I think there's many challenges, and there's many ways to run challenges, and there's many types of challenges, and there's many outputs. Obviously, it just depends on what you decide to put into the challenge.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, it's like it's just a medium, right? So you have to provide value, and towards the end, just like anything else, if they would want to continue working with you, they can. If you present
Yep.
them enough.
Yep.
Simple.
Agreed. Agreed.
All right.
Absolutely.
So with that, we come to an end of this podcast. First of all, thank you so much for sharing all of that with us.
You're
Now,
very welcome.
just to give you that trick, right? So you mentioned that you already
I'm waiting for that one.
so you mentioned that you already have like phone numbers and email addresses of all those people, right?
Yes.
Now, and till now, have you ever sent them a text message before?
No, I've sent them emails, but I haven't sent them a text message.
Okay, and I heard you said that you use Go High Level.
I do.
Okay, perfect. So the next time you do a challenge, when it's about to start, 24 hours before, right? Just send them a countdown sequence of 4 SMS, right? 24 hours before, 12 hours before, 6 hours before, and an hour before the challenge actually starts. To all the phone numbers that you have already got, you will see a lot of people join your challenge from that
Oh, really?
because they do not want to miss out on that. So the last
It's
challenge that
that
we ran,
the FOMO, right? The fear of
yes, the
missing
FOMO.
out, right?
So so we have been using emails for a while now, right? But nobody uses SMS. But SMS has a lot of like open rate than email addresses. So I think that is going to change your game if you use it. And
Mm.
you have a big list, man. I mean, it's just like sometimes we feel like we have sent our message to everybody in our list, but it's not usually the case, right? A lot of people don't even get to see what you have to offer, and if they go ahead and read the mail, open up the email, it doesn't mean that they have read it fully.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you send them a text, it's like very easy to for them to go ahead and open it up with your link
Mm.
to join the challenge.
Okay. So yeah, we'll have to absolutely do that. I think that's one of the things that we like another step. Like that's what I was telling you about before is like you think you know all the things you need to do during a challenge, right? And for the most part for a coach, it's all about just showing up and being there and everybody will just show. But you have to do a lot of things on the back end to make sure that not only people show up, but that you've done enough to drive traffic to what whatever the scenario is, right? And so we do. Yeah, that's a great point, right? That's a really great point.
Mhm. So last time when we ran this, right, and we had been marketing through email for the past 2 weeks.
Uh huh.
Uh, we got 90% of how like the number of signups we got in those 2 weeks on the last day itself,
Oh wow, wow,
just because of that SMS sequence, and we were only able to send that SMS sequence to 200 people, out of which 21 people joined.
wow,
But he
wow.
had a
That's
list of 15,000 people
wow,
because Go High Level wouldn't approve, like for some registration issue, we couldn't send SMS to 15,000 people. Just imagine how many more people would have joined.
wow. That's interesting. Wow, it'd be good to have a big list like that too, right? Because
You have 4,000. I mean, 4,000 is a big number. Like a lot of coaches would admire to have that.
yeah, yeah. That's good. I need to absolutely do that. And I'm also thinking about like I have a list of wholesalers that are inside of our business that we use for the business, and I this past week I was thinking I need to start marketing to them as well, right? Because that's another thing that I have another 10,000 of those, so I need to start marketing to them, and maybe that'll be some helpful stuff as well. So I think I'm trying to get a lot better with that part of it, right? Because of all the other things I do, right? Is running a sales company is super. is new to me, but yeah, there's some things I absolutely can learn to be able to help in regards to that. Right, that makes a lot of sense. Thanks for that. That's tons of good value. Right.
Absolutely, absolutely, Curtis. Okay, thank you so much for being here. I've been
You're
a
very
great time
welcome.
talking to you. I hope you liked it as well the entire
I
time
did.
you.
I did. It was definitely very eye opening about a lot of things the things that I hadn't thought about before.
Awesome, awesome. All right, thank you so much, Curtis, for
All
being
right.
here.
All right.
It
Thank
was
you very
nice.
much. You have a great day.
Absolutely.
All right.
Bye. All right. So with that, we come to an end of this episode. If you feel like you have to go ahead and connect with Curtis to know anything about real estate, then I would really recommend you do so because he's the master of his game. And if you are looking to do your own challenge, then go ahead and find out about the 7 biggest mistakes that people make while trying to do a 5-day challenge that is keeping them from making 6 figures in the next challenge that they do. I'll leave the link in the description. Go ahead and find it out. I'll see you on the next one. Till then, keep creating for a change.